Alright, the purpose of today's video is to show you how to search a really cool database that we have at Edison State College, and that's the New York Times Historical. So we'll click Articles and Databases, just like we would for any database, and we're going to go ahead and log in by using our borrower ID number, which is our student ID number on your Connect card or your banner number, same thing. The PIN number it's going to look for is the last 4 digits of your social security number, and then you can go ahead and press Login. The New York Times Historical is in 2 of these different categories. First, we'll find it about 3/4 of the way down the page under the History subject heading. And if you can't remember that, it's more obviously, I guess, under the Newspapers heading. All the way down here at the bottom of that subject heading, you'll find the New York Times Historical. So go ahead and whichever one you choose, go ahead and pick your subject heading, and then go ahead and click on the link, and that'll pop you into your connection screen. So you're always going to have to click Connect to Database, and then you're in the New York Times Historical. So what does this do? Basically, it's a quick way to keyword search up here using this main search box. The entire history of the New York Times from 1851 to 2007. That's what the Historical Times covers. So what can we find in there? All kinds of good stuff. The article from the day after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, or the day after the Titanic was sunk. We've got the day after Pearl Harbor was bombed. Or the moonwalk, very first time man was on the moon, and of course something more modern, the September 11th attacks. So in addition to news, you can come up here and click Obituaries, and this is kind of a cool feature. The New York Times is a huge paper, so many people have been profiled in obituaries here. So you could type in someone like Marilyn Monroe, or a phrase search for a specific person like John F. Kennedy, and you'll find their New York Times obituary. A key thing to do is to limit that by date range. If you know the date the person died or the range of days the person, the obituary might have been published, it's good to narrow it. So you can come up here to Advanced Search and go ahead and click that. The Advanced tab is on the home page, but also in here, and I would recommend you checking it out because it gives you the option to do lots of stuff. You can limit in all these cool ways. You'll notice you can search specifically classified ads, comics, lottery numbers, marriage records, obituaries again, stocks even, historical stock quotes. So anything that was in the paper then or now will be in there. You can search your results by relevance or from the oldest stuff to the newest or vice versa. So these are all cool options from the advanced search screen. So let me show you how I got all those historical articles. We'll come up here and for instance we'll do a phrase search for Civil War, and we'll scroll down here, and since we know the dates of the American Civil War, we'll go ahead and put those in to differentiate our search from the Spanish Civil War or anything else that might be covered. So you can do specific date range, and we'll put in 1861 to roughly 1865, the sort of loose dates for the American Civil War. And once we've entered that, you can do a couple of things. I'll come down here, and what I would do is sort the oldest to newest so we can see it chronologically from the old stuff to the new. And I like to change the items per page up to 100. That way I don't have to scroll through a bunch of different pages to see a lot of results. So we'll just hit search, and you'll see we'll get really good results. The National Crisis, Secession Speech by Senator Benjamin of Louisiana, the President's Message in England, the disunion movement. So this is all pretty interesting, and if you see a good one, you can click this preview link to the right, and you'll get a little bit more detail, a bit of the abstract or the summary of the article, so you can see it without even having to click it. If you pick an article that you like, just go ahead and click right on the blue text, and just like you saw with those sample articles before, it's really neat. It's going to open in just like you have the microfilm, so it's the actual day's paper, and you've got this tools menu down at the bottom right. So of course you can save or print this. You can use the expander so that you can see the whole page on one, or you can use this secondary tool to widen it so that you see it all in one view. Of course, you can always come up here to Page View PDF, and it'll pop out the PDF for you to save or print. You have your typical tools bar in the upper right hand corner. You can email it to yourself. You can print the article. Of course, you got a citation tool, so if you click Cite, what it'll do is the database will automatically cite this for you. It defaulted to APA, but if you aren't doing APA, never fear, you just use the drop down box and you have all these choices. And switching is very simple. If you were doing an MLA paper, just switch it to MLA, click change. It'll take a moment to think, and then there's your MLA 7th edition citation for this article. So that's a pretty neat feature too, and you'll see that in a lot of databases. So we'll go back to the advanced search screen. I'll just show you 2 more quick tips before we go. One thing I'd like to point out is we found the Civil War by just searching every word of every article for the last over 100 years. So you can change that. You can come up here and change all fields and all text to search a specific field. If you have an author you're looking for, or an article title you're looking for, even in the specific section of the paper, you can do that with those drop-down boxes. You can also use multiple keywords. They have 3 lines for you, but you can add as many rows as you like just by clicking this Add Row button. So you can be more specific. Civil War and Abraham Lincoln, Civil War and slavery, things like that. So in a nutshell, that's the New York Times Historical Database, one of our most interesting databases. I hope this video was helpful, and I encourage you to check it out.